What's up, everyone? My name is Aaron Byrne. Welcome to the We All Can Change podcast, where I help others heal this planet to live a more fulfilled and healthier life. And I do all this in a pretty non extreme, non serious way. Seriously. This is episode 2. I'm talking about banks and investing. Woo! Yeah, money. Where are we putting our cheddar? Where are we storing our dough? What are we doing with our quiche? as, as they say. I'll be going over the environmental impacts of banks and investing, as well as alternatives for both of those. And then I'll also dive into a little bit about my journey through kind of being more aware about this divestment movement and how banks affect the environment and, of course, people on the planet. So, banks are a pretty unique topic. I mean, we don't really hear about them too much in the environmental movement. We're kind of used to things like waste and energy and transportation, recycling. We're starting to hear a little bit more about diet and food, which is super good. Great to hear about that. But yeah, not so used to hearing about banks, and so I'm excited to bring this topic to you in one of the earlier episodes that kind of sets the stage and lets you know that there's all these different angles we can use to reduce our impact. Reduce our footprint, increase our impact. I always say that. It's terrible. Yeah, so pretty unique topic. What are banks? Banks are the devil. No, just kidding. They just take our deposits that we have and they use that deposit money and invest it into other companies, as well as, of course, they make money off of interest from loans and then other sources too. But I kind of want to just focus on the fact that the money we put in, they can use to kind of support whatever industry they choose. So no problem with that. I mean, just a good business model. Great job, banks. Good for you. The issue is the industries that they're investing in, right? These industries are typically industries that aren't very climate positive. They're pretty climate negative, as they say. I don't know who says that. I just kind of made that up. I hope that's a thing. Or maybe I just coined it. Yeah, I mean, they're investing in industries like oil and gas, coal, fossil fuels for sure, and then heavy metals and of course like industry, and then big large scale agriculture that isn't very sustainable. And of course, we all support these industries too, because whenever we go to the grocery store or something like that, or the diamond store, we're also buying those things too. So I mean, it's not like these banks are the worst people in the world. It's just the fact that these companies, these banks, I mean, are choosing to keep investing in these industries that they're well aware of the negatives to that, and the fact that they're investing in these companies and these industries. It doesn't really show that they are supporting their customers' future and their customers' future generations, basically. So that's what I kind of, I guess, don't like about it, of course. And then there's just my opinion aside, it's just not a good thing for the planet. Who cares about what Aaron thinks? I'm just talking about the earth, yo. So it's not a big business issue. I have no problem with big businesses. It's just the way you conduct a business, and if you choose to deliberately, go against thousands of people that have voiced their opinion about the industries that you're supporting. Yeah, that just says what stance you're taking, and here I am taking my own stance. So here we go. So what do I do with all this information, Aaron? God, you're telling me like all these banks are just harming the planet and I'm supporting it? God, what do we do? I don't really know. That next episode, We'll just talk about that in the next episode. Just kidding. No, there's some alternatives out there. We can choose to switch banks. There's more ethical banks out there for sure. So not all is lost. The light still prevails. Okay. Yeah, there's some banks that are pretty ethical, as in supporting people and communities, and then also only investing in climate positive industries. So that's super cool. Some examples would be Amalgamated. I think that's how you pronounce that word. Amalgamated or amalgamated. Ah, God, I always mess that up. And so that's a bank. I think they're pretty much all online, but they're all in on renewable energy and sustainable industries like that, and then also just very socially responsible too, people wise. And we've found that those two go hand in hand typically, right? Second one is also Beneficial Bank. Kind of does the same thing. Super cool. And hey, First Green Bank out of Orlando. Shout out to them. Yeah, that's super cool. Good for them. It seems like Florida is a little bit behind, like 10 years or so on a lot of things, but then they surprised me a little bit, like with this First Green Bank in Orlando, and then I think they had like the first governmentally recognized tiny home village in the US, which was pretty cool, somewhere up north Florida. Yeah, I'm down in the middle section. Yeah, it's like 60 degrees today. It's freaking cold. And I say this during the polar vortex where it's like negative 20 up in Michigan. All my friends are posting like sixth snow day in a row. They're all in college, so sixth snow day. And I'm like complaining about 60 degrees. Woo! I got a sweater on. It's crazy down here. Yeah, so shout out to Orlando though for First Green Bank. That's super cool. Those are just a few alternative banks. There's a ton of them. I'll send, not send, I'll link some good links to good banks below my podcast in the description. I believe it's called. What is podcasting? Yeah, so I'll definitely send some links your way somehow or another. And then also just credit unions are definitely a better alternative. Naturally, they have a better footprint, and the only issue with credit unions is that they can still invest in, or I guess loan to really any industry in the end. And so even if it's member motivated rather than shareholder motivated, those members could still be within your community, but supporting various industries that may be their job. But that being said, a little bit iffy. I mean, definitely check out my link to I believe they're called CDFI banks. So CDFI certification is just a socially responsible certification. Typically means that they're pretty ethical. There's a really good list, so I'll send you that really good list, and then I'll also show you this second list that's like way more banks, but pretty good, but not as good. So, oh, and then also, I mean, third option for another bank would be under your mattress. Yeah, just the back to the basics, like store your money under your mattress. And I mean, especially when you're making a bunch of money, like don't put it in a bank. If you've got like 100,000 bucks, just put it on your mattress. No one's gonna thing to look under there. Like that's super secure. And I mean, footprint's super low and really good for the planet. So yeah, those are some options for you. I'm kidding. No, I'm not. I am. Okay, I am. God, this podcast is super jumbled, and I don't know if I'm gonna save it. I probably will. Diving into my story on how I kind of came about banks and stuff. I was going to Standing Rock to protest the Dakota Access Pipeline there. Many of you probably have heard about it. If not, look it up. It was kind of a big deal. And yeah, I spent like a week there, so I put my time in. I spent all this time protesting and helping out at the camp. But then during that time, like within that same month, I was kind of doing some more research on banks and this divestment movement that was getting pretty popular and gaining some traction. And I started to realize that these banks are supporting a lot of these industries that I don't really believe in at all. And I came to find that my own bank was supporting the exact company that I was protesting. Crazy. Yeah, I banked with Chase. So I like flew across country, drove to this the reservation, protested, helped out, and then at the end of the day, like my money was sitting in an account that was supporting this same company. So it's just crazy. It's it feels hypocritical. I feel guilty in a hypocritical way. And then also just feels like I'm wasting my time. Like it's just not like it feels like it would just zero each other out. I mean, of course if I didn't have that much money, it maybe wouldn't zero each other out, but like it's pretty close. I mean, it could zero out the impact that you have on all this stuff. So yeah, I mean that was pretty disheartening for sure. So I started to dig into alternative banks and find these ethical banks and I found Amalgamated. God, I gotta look that up. Hang on one second. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Amalgamated? Amalgamate. Pronounce it. Can you hear that?
Amalgamate.
Amalgamate. Okay, so Amalgamated. Yeah. Amalgamated Bank is the one I went with. It's online, it's totally free, and seems like pretty modern. The bank that you choose, it's got to be just as good as the one you left, right? Otherwise, you're just like, wow, this sucks. I mean, at the end of the day, a ethical bank has to be just as good, if not better, online and just kind of easy access and everything like that too. So I set that account up first, really. Just easier that way. You set it up first, then you transfer the money from your old bank account to this new one, and then you close everything. I just submitted a formal letter. I could have gone in, but decided against it. It was just like a hectic time of my life. I was about to go travel, and so I didn't want to give them the time of day. Otherwise, I mean, maybe it's a good idea to go in and just state why you're doing this, and maybe they'll patch that message through a little bit more. But I just did a formal letter explaining my closure, and they might have that on record, maybe not. But hey, I mean, point is I feel better at the end of the day, and so forth. So yeah, Amalgamated is the one I went with. There's a ton of them out there. I'll send you that. Of course, I'll show you that link to the good ones. Then I'll show you the link to the sort of good ones that are pretty good. So yeah, I mean, I also put out a blog post on banks, talked a little bit about it, and then those links are there too. Don't really know why you'd click on a blog post then to get to the link that's already at this podcast. But hey, I feel like I should share that with you. Same story with investing. Yeah, our portfolios, we choose what stocks to invest in, what companies to buy into, and then CDs as well. Like if we have a CD account, I definitely don't. But if we do, that's more bank associated, of course, and so it goes kind of back to what bank we're buying into and everything like that too. So yeah, stuff like that, CDs, portfolios, same story. We get to choose what companies we support. Sometimes it's just like a package, and it's like this is your return, and it's like I don't really care what the companies I'm supporting. So you got to look into that stuff, and then if you have full control over your investments and everything, just kind of pick and choose and stick to the ethical companies out there. And studies have shown, and tons of research out there backing up that investing in renewables uh, are just as good and just as good as returns as investing in fossil fuels. And I mean, you could even just stay away from energy in general and just stick to tech and all that stuff that's just as big or exploding right now for sure. And I mean, at the end of the day, if you have $5 in your account, of course it's not a huge impact, and these banks aren't gonna really bat an eye too much. But it's all about developing a pattern. And so any successful or semi-smart CEO or even far down from that, just business person is going to recognize a pattern of why people are closing their accounts or why their sales are dropping a little bit here and there. And ultimately, businesses care about money. If their customers are stopping their business with them, then they're probably going to change. And if they're not, they're going to go out of business. But no one's going to choose go out of business rather than just change. Like it's pretty easy to just like divest from certain industries and and invest in other ones. I mean, of course, there's a ton of work, but I mean, at the end of the day, if it's a choice between that or close down your multi-billion-dollar business, we all know which ones they're going to choose. So, yeah, I mean, it's not a huge impact in and of itself unless we have a lot of money, of course, but it starts a pattern, sends a message. Your friends and family, they're going to probably hear about it, and it starts that domino effect. That's kind of how all this stuff is, right? The actions that we take are just actions within ourselves, but it starts this pattern, starts this movement, and it creates this energy, right? That's the whole point. There's an issue with a lot of people about this topic that they bring up the idea of job loss, right, and everything like that. And I get this a lot with like a lot of different topics too, not just this one, but I kind of touched on this just now about businesses choosing to change or go out of business. And so that, I mean, is on them. You know, it's not my goal to put a company out of business. Not at all. I mean times are changing, of course, and the fossil fuel industry is shrinking for sure, and it's going to go away at some point. And of course, I don't want people out of jobs, and I don't want companies closing down that could just change how they're doing business, right? I mean, defunding a company just sends a message directly, and they little light bulb comes on, and they have the choice of changing how they do business or going out of business. And so I mean that's on them, and it's not really a worrisome thing to worry about. Hey, what about those people that have jobs at Chase or other banks? And I mean, it's a ton of banks out there, by the way. I feel like I'm definitely talking more about Chase than anything else, but no, it's definitely tons of banks. Wells Fargo, Citigroup, Bank of America, like like tons of them. Like chances are your bank is funding these industries for sure. I mean, even credit unions are having ties, some sort of ties to these industries for sure. So, yeah, kind of a bummer. But hey, that's the whole good part about the alternatives being there. And yeah, I mean, I went on that path and it wasn't too hard. I mean, Amalgamated being it's online, it would definitely be tough if I had a bunch of cash coming in from my drug dealing and stuff. But yeah, so like if I was a drug dealer, I definitely wouldn't do Amalgamated. And even then, I guess drug dealers don't really put their money in a bank because that's the whole point of like money laundering. But no, I'm just kidding. So like if you're like a waiter or bartender that gets like a bunch of cash, that would be tough, I think. I think that a lot of these online banks do have access to all these ATMs that aren't necessarily through their company, but you can oftentimes deposit through that. But I think that would be tough. And so if you do a lot of cash, maybe consider looking into that CDFI link that I share with you here. That has a way bigger list of banks. And then also just definitely consider the credit union just because of the footprint in itself. But yeah, that CDFI is a pretty good indicator that they're doing something good, right? Yeah. So there's some options out there, and it's kind of sad that these industries are, or I'm sorry, these banks are choosing to still do this, but hey, that's business, and it's not personal, and just I'm just switching. I just switched my bank. I mean, that was a couple of years ago, but yeah, I don't even think about it anymore. I would love to go back to Chase if they switched their investment because they were great. Like nothing's bad about them. Like they were so helpful, and I had no issues. But at the end of the day, I just can't support those industries. Yeah, so kind of a bummer. So what are the benefits? I mean, I talked about that they don't really have an impact in and of itself if we don't really have that much money. I mean, but the impact is in really how we feel, of course. Like we just feel damn good letting our money work for us. Like even if it's a couple $1,000 in the bank, like just knowing that money's sitting there overnight and it's going to better industry and everything like that, just way better feeling. Feels good. And just being less contradicting, if we're gonna be showing up to a rally across the country, like me, we better like have all of our angles covered, or a lot of them at least. Of course, there's gonna be things that we do like driving or really anything. I mean, we're always gonna be hypocritical, but hey, I mean, the less contradicting we are, the better, and the better we'll feel for it for sure. So let your money work for you. Throw your money into a bank account that is given back to your community in a good way, or given back to the world in a good way, whether it's through sustainable industries or socially responsible companies, stuff like that. Let's get out there and let's make a difference, right? Yeah, cool. So, if you enjoyed this episode, please share it around, and thank you so much for all the support, you guys. I really appreciate it. Or I'm sorry, you all. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'm super excited to get all this going and get the blog up and podcast up. It's been a lot of work, but it's super rewarding, and thank you so much. Also, if you're looking to stay updated on when new episodes or blog posts come out, you can sign up for this weekly update on what's new. It's kind of like a Sunday paper, or it's like church. It's like going to church, kind of like eco church. There won't be any clutter, not ever. So you never have to worry about that. So just head on over to weallcanchange.com and enter your email at the top of any page. We don't have to be perfect to save the planet.